Hello. So I've been asked by a few people to make a quick guide on how I put this terminal together. It's really very easy. You just need a couple of apps, the watch itself, and a few green stuff pipes. So first up, let's talk about the watch itself. So the watch I've used is a Samsung Galaxy Active, mainly because it's the one that I own. It's literally been staring at me for months, saying, you must be able to do something with that screen. And eventually, pulled the trigger and I came up with this. If you were thinking of doing this and don't own one already, the outlay for a refurbished one of these is about £40 to £80, which is quite a big layout for such a small terrain piece. But if you do own a watch already, this is the perfect way to get a nice little gimmick to go on your table. So the biggest problem I found when trying to make this was the screen timeout. So most smartwatches are designed for the screens to stay on between sort of 5 and 15 seconds as to not waste the battery. I did, however, manage to find a little app in the Galaxy Store called Gallery Slideshow, which will keep the screen on as long as you want and play the GIFs in a random order. Which, after having a little play, I realised was the app that I was after. I'll get on to more of the features later on, but this is the one that you want. So the GIFs themselves are just a few images that I found after an image search. Put them through the Power Director app, which is the same one that I'm using to edit this video, and just added the effects like the blur bar, the scrolling text and the green tint, and then exported them into a video. I've then imported the videos into a third app called GIF Maker Editor. It's free to be able to convert them into GIFs to be able to use on the watch. I found that about 104 pixels by 104 pixels and a low quality setting makes a file small enough but readable enough so you'll be able to transport over to your watch easily. I'll also put a link in the description below to the drive folder with all these files in, so if you want them you can download them ready made and ready to go. So here's a quick run through the app itself. As you can see, the screen's turned off pretty much automatically. Once the app's running, it won't do that, which is what we want. So it automatically starts playing a few of the images on your watch that you've already got saved. You double tap the screen, it brings up the options, so you can have 3, 5 or 7 seconds. I prefer 5, I think 7's too long, but on the other end 3 isn't long enough. Select photos and you can scroll and select which GIFs you want to play. And then you can choose if you want it random or sequential. Prefer random, just to break up the cycle a bit. And press play and away you go. So that's all the technical aspects of the watch itself. Really simple, just a couple of apps and you'll be up and running. Now with all that out of the way, here is the fun part. So I've chosen to mount this one with the single zone Mortalis wall sections. I'm using the natural lip at the bottom to hold the watch up. You can align it so it fits perfectly with the light, or if you wanted you could file the light off and have it sit flat, but this way it angles a little bit more towards the floor. And all we're essentially doing is building a really simple cradle for this to sit in. First step I did was to glue a 28mm piece of L-shaped styrene just toward the bottom of the wall section, as you can see here. You'll need to trim off the 3 rivets just to make it sit flat, but once you do this, it'll leave you with a nice 45-degree lip. Next step was a second bar glued to the inside of the L-shaped styrene, which is 35mm in length by 5mm wide. This provides just a bigger, chunkier lip for the main screen to fit onto, which we'll do in the next step. So the terminal for this is just made from the various screens that come with the Zone Mortalis columns, just simply snipped and glued together, but with the back filed flat, as in the green circle, just so it gives a nice flat finish. Next step is just to remove the bottom edge, as highlighted in the green circle, to about roughly 45 degrees. This will balance out the opposite 45 degrees we've got from the bar coming from the main column, and we'll let the screen sit nicely in front of the watch. Dry fit it until you're happy with the positioning of the screen. Just be extra careful not to get any glue on the actual watch, otherwise it's going to be a pain to get that off. Once it's all dry, you can literally leave it there and use it as is. The watch will quite happily sit behind the terminal, just keeping it in place. I decided to add some green stuff cables to these. You can use them to fill the gaps between the watch and the wall. They'll also emphasise the archaic, techie nature of the piece, and also, if you get them in the right place, to be able to make use of them and give the watch a nice snug fit. And with that, we'll leave them to cure. So after it's cured, yours will look something like this. It's just one final step, just to hide that top part with a pipe, just to make it a little bit stronger, a little bit more hidden. So to fix on the pipe, I've just sunk some 2x1mm magnets into the wall and the pipe itself. The pipe kit comes from the old Technolog / Robo Gear pipe kits you can sort of find floating around on eBay. Lovely little thing to have, just nice to add little bits of detail to stuff. And that's it, apart from a coat of paint, and that's entirely up to you. I just threw a few colours on this one just to block it in, and it's come out really well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this and find it really useful. If you have, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and drop and leave a comment below. Any criticisms are always welcome, and I hope to see you again soon.